Ladies and gentlemen, what if Azimio La Umoja One Kenya alliance falls apart before 2027 general election? Have you ever thought about that? That's exactly what I want us to analyze in this particular video. Because I've been studying Azimio La Umoja One Kenya alliance of late, and I'm coming to the conclusion that Azimio are facing two major political headaches that they must face head-on. Failure to which a fallout is going to occur in Azimio La Umoja One Kenya alliance. But their chance of winning the presidency, in my view, are so high because William Ruto's government has failed and William Ruto is likely to become a one-term president, but only if Azimio La Umoja One Kenya alliance is united. And do you think William Ruto will allow Azimio La Umoja One Kenya alliance to remain united? I doubt. But the main headache for Azimio La Umoja One Kenya alliance is the presidential candidate. Who will be Azimio La Umoja One Kenya alliance presidential candidate?
Utakula nini? Raila Amolo Odinga 2022 lisasi yetu ilikuwa ni moja, haikupata kitu. Sasa Raila Amolo Odinga, mimi naomba usimame simama 2027 peke yako, usimame tena. Na naambia Kalonzo Musyoka, tafadhali na kuomba kunyenyekevu. Hata naweza piga magoti chini. Naomba Kalonzo Musyoka mara ya mwisho. Kalonzo mara ya mwisho. Utusupport. Raila Amolo, nimepiga baka magoti. Kalonzo Musyoka, utusupport mara ya mwisho. 2042. Ana si tutawasupport. Tutawasupport 2042.
Whatever almost 1 hour stated in that video, in my view, is serious and should not be taken lightly. I've heard several other people talk about it. On this particular channel, when you read the comments, you realize that some don't even believe that Kalonzo Musyoka is actually serious with the presidency. But assuming today, Raila Odinga decides that he's going to be on the ballot, because it's been pushed, do you think Kalonzo Musyoka will support him? I doubt. And if Kalonzo Musyoka were to bolt out of Azimio for that matter, do you see any chance for Raila Odinga? I doubt. So the second option is for Kalonzo Musyoka to be the presidential candidate. And assume Raila Odinga today decides to endorse Kalonzo Musyoka. Do you think Martha Karua will agree? I'm just asking. Maybe yes, but for me I don't see. Because recently, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka was in Vihiga. I never saw Martha Karua there. I never saw the Kamwene Leadership Forum there. What are they trying to say? Indirectly or in silence? Okay, let's assume Martha Karua is now the candidate. Can Kalonzo Musyoka agree to support Martha Karua? I doubt. So that is the main dilemma Azimio La Umoja One Kenya alliance finds itself in. And of course, in one of my advice, I told them to identify their presidential candidate early enough. Because by identifying their presidential candidate early enough, they'll achieve two main advantages. Number one is that they'll be able to have enough time to sell that candidate. If it's Kalonzo, they'll be able to come up with a strategy. How do we sell him? How do we go? Number two, they will also be able to deal with the fallout. And that's why I still insist that if Azimio La Umoja One Kenya alliance are serious about winning the presidency, then they must, as a matter of urgency, announce their presidential candidate. They must start sending signals. I want to assume Raila Odinga has been trying to send those signals. But in this video, I want us to try and figure out what if Azimio fall out. Before we do those, in case you're watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support, because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, if you watch this video up to this stage, just know from the bottom of my heart that I really value it. You can do me a favor by pressing that subscribe button if you have not yet subscribed, or you can also do that thumbs up. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think can cause a fallout in Azimio? Let's begin from there. The first thing that is likely to cause a fallout in Azimio is the choice of the presidential candidate. And of course, I've already explained that, so I don't want to repeat myself. Who is going to be their candidate? If that candidate is named, you should expect one or two guys to bolt out. The second thing that can cause fallout within Azimio is the political formation. Politics is a game of numbers, perceived or real. But you must begin from the real aspect of it. Now, assuming today Azimio wants to win the presidency, I just want to ask you, and let me know in the comment section. Assuming today Azimio wants to win the presidency, who should be the presidential candidate in your view? And who should be his or her running mate? Assuming today is Kalonzo Musyoka as the presidential candidate, who should be the running mate? Should the running mate come from the Luhya nation, or should the running mate come from the Luo nation, or should the running mate come from Mount Kenya? I've actually had a serious discussion with a friend of mine over that, because the friend has been telling me that for Kalonzo to win the presidency, he must have the support, or he must have a running mate from the mountain. And he's convincing me that if Kalonzo were to pick a running mate from the mountain, for example, he's going to have an advantage, because there are so many people in the mountain who are not comfortable with Raila Odinga's presidency. But now with Kalonzo and you pair him or her with someone from the mountain, it means even those who are dissatisfied with Kenya Kwanza will troop to that ticket. But can you bank on that? That's the question I keep on asking him. So that's also there. What if, for example, Kalonzo decides to pick someone from the mountain? Do you think the Luhya nation, that is Oparanya and Eugene, who are positioning themselves, will be happy? Where do you think they will go? Either they'll run independently or they'll bolt out and support Ruto. So the political formation, which is basically the winning formula, is likely to cause a fallout in Azimio. How they can avert that? The third issue is basically the regional interest, or let's call it the tribal alliances or tribal interest. Assuming today Azimio were to settle on Kalonzo as a presidential candidate, it would mean that for the Luo nation, Raila Odinga will not be on the ballot. Then you now pair Kalonzo and Ruto. Then you give the Luo nation the opportunity to pick their candidate. Some will opt for Ruto because of William Ruto's brand of politics, because of William Ruto's lies, and because of William Ruto's promises. What about the Luhya nation? If in Azimio, the Luhya nation cannot get a running mate, for example, they cannot get a presidential candidate, what would be their interest in serving Azimio? So it's a very delicate balancing act for Azimio. So the regional interest or tribal interest will actually determine whether Azimio will fall out or not. The third reason is political debt. Who owes who? Raila, Kalonzo, Martha Karua. Kalonzo has stood with Raila Odinga 3 times, and Raila Odinga actually alluded to it. Martha Karua was Raila Odinga's running mate. And therefore, she could be right to demand that if Raila is not on the ballot, it's her. So those political debts, if Raila Odinga will not support someone from the Kamba Nation, Kalonzo Musyoka, it will be an act of betrayal in the eyes of the Kamba Nation. So that can cause. Number 4 is the uniting factor. The desire to remove Ruto from office. You see, if there's a general agreement that we need to remove Ruto from office, then it means each and every politician can actually sacrifice and unite. But it's also a challenge. Just like I've been saying, that it's easy to remove Ruto from office, it would mean then everybody would want to run against him in the hope they can easily defeat him. That interest, if not well managed, can make individual politicians within Azimio to be greedy. And Ruto can actually decide now, because of that, because I'm likely to lose, let me not allow these guys to unite. Moi did that with Matiba and Jaramogi. Ruto did that in the last election when he picked Musalia Mudavadi and Weta last minute. Nothing will stop him from doing that. The other factor is the finance. Now, you might be very popular, but can you raise campaign fund? Can you place 3 or 4 billion on the table that in this campaign we are going for it? Hii ndio pesa yangu nimeweka. Atuwe hiyo 4 billion, nimefunga 4 billion. Ndio hii. That will also cause serious division. Because some might not be in a position to give or to raise funds. And that's basically the advantage Raila has over all these guys. But I've always believed that Kalonzo Musyoka can actually raise funds. And of course, the last one is popularity. Who is popular? And how will you determine who is popular? I remember during the last election, Kalonzo Musyoka was very clear to Raila Odinga that you can only become the president if you make me the running mate. He was consistent with that. He's a former vice president, maybe he had intelligence. So who has the numbers? You don't want a case where you go into an election as Azimio, then you can't even deliver your word the way Martha Karua did. Which means there's a possibility that Azimio can hold or they may not hold. Which means then they are going to fall apart. So what if Azimio La Umoja One Kenya Alliance falls apart before 2027 election? If that were to happen, William Ruto will walk straight to State House. Number 2, I also foresee people like either Raila Odinga or Kalonzo or Martha Karua deciding to work with Ruto. I also foresee the possibility of all of them running in the hope that in case of a runoff, one of them will leave it for the other. I don't know what to think. That's my take. Until next time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.